What did Shaq say? Why'd you go play at LSU? Because they paid the best.
I went down there. My wife went there, and I went down there, and them boys cruising every single kind of car. Everybody's dream car them football players had. It was crazy.
Bayou Bengals, man. When you're looking at the NFL today, where the game is today, extremely popular game. Do you think the season is a little too long? I think they even think about extending the season even some more. So today I'm sitting down with a man who just didn't wear the star. He earned it. A leader on and off the field, a Canadian powerhouse who made his mark in the NFL, the trenches with the Dallas Cowboys, and now he's rewriting the playbook for life after football. He's battled with injuries, captained in the locker room, and now he's turning vision into ventures. This episode isn't just for athletes, it's for anyone who knows the purpose doesn't stop when the crowd goes silent. Tyrone Crawford is here to talk about legacy, leadership, entrepreneurship, what it means to dominate life with the same intensity brought to the gridiron. So we've got topics here too as well with what's going on in the world from a faith and finance and a biblical perspective. Coming to you from 3, 2, 1. Let's go. What's cracking, everybody? Money Smart Guy, Matt Sapali here, hailing to you from Dallas, Texas, and Tyrone Crawford. Welcome to the podcast, big dog.
My man, that was an intro. That was definitely an intro. I love it.
Well, I appreciate the intro from DeMarcus. I got to meet you a couple Saturdays ago. Big thanks to D-Law out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys go back now, man. I mean, you guys go back to Boise State. Tell me about that. Your first impressions on campus when DeMarcus was there, and obviously he's on a recruiting trip.
Yeah. He was a big recruit coming in from JUCO. I was a JUCO guy, and I thought I was going to host him, but he got hosted by a guy from Atlanta, one of our brothers, and they had a good time. But I got to speak with him a little bit at the D-line meeting after the night before the game, after the nightly dinner, and he was in. You can't miss him. It's DeMarcus. He was in a huge purple jumpsuit from his JUCO. I think he had a chain on, but we got to talking, and as we're talking, I was thinking he would want to accept some advice from me, I guess, being at Boise already.
Yeah. And
no, I mean, he straight up said to me, he's like, dude, I heard you're the guy. I want you to try this move tomorrow. And I'm like, you want me to try a move? And
so this is a younger guy talking to an older guy.
Yeah, but this is DeMarcus. Oh, I mean, if we talk any more about him, you'll see he came in as a rookie.
Yeah.
And I had to take care of him. Obviously, I made sure that there was nothing going on. In the NFL, he didn't have to do too much. But I mean, he was Coach D-Law from the get-go.
Coach D-Law.
Yeah, Coach D-Law.
Wow.
But at that Boise meeting, we got talking, and he showed me this move, and it was a cross chop type of move, and I was like, all right, I'll try it at the game. I'll try it in the game tomorrow. And I forget who we were playing, but, I was looking over the sidelines. It was about third quarter, and, I haven't tried the move. And he's sitting there like, man, try the move. And I was like, all right, man, next drive, I'm trying the move. And I went out there, third down came around, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to try the move. I did the cross chop, boom, got a sack. And, I mean, we've been brothers since then, man. I got off, got hype. We were jumping, hitting each other in the air and stuff. And it was, ever since then, man, we were locked in. And, when they asked me about him at Boise, they're like, hey, man, this guy's kind of a troublemaker. And I was like, yeah, he's not really a troublemaker. Like, he's a good dude. Cause I had kept up with him since then. And he had a great career at Boise. And I was like, no, he's a good dude. It's just, our coach, Chris Peterson, he's an amazing man, but his rules were real stern, and you can get in trouble for wearing a hood in class. You can get in trouble for wearing a hood or, earphones on campus. So he got in a little trouble at Boise, and I was like, hey, don't let that trouble thing scare away other teams. Don't let it scare away the Cowboys. Go get that boy. And that's what they did. They traded up and went and got him.
Do you remember way before your time, though, it was the defensive end of the Bears draft. His name was Trace Armstrong. He's a yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. We talked about this earlier, but he was a guy from Boise State. This is the first time I ever seen Boise State because your field was blue.
Yeah,
and it was odd for me to look, but the Bears drafted him. Anyway, he had a great career. He went out to play for Miami, but you came to America by way because you're originally from Canada.
Yeah,
you're Canadian.
Yeah.
So where'd you learn? Was football up there a sport that everybody played? I mean, how'd you get good at it?
Yeah, I mean, we in high school we're a border city, so we're right across from Detroit. We're actually more south than Detroit is, right? But
Oh wow! Okay,
yeah,
I got it.
yeah. So we're
Through
kind
the
of like
lakes.
and through the lakes, exactly, through
No
the Great
kidding.
Lakes. But we played Canadian football rules, and we weren't heavily recruited. So when I was coming out, I was more recruited on the basketball side. But I did do some, football camps at Michigan State. And, coming out of high school, the football coach heard about me through this camp at Michigan State and I guess through friends. And so Boise State and Michigan State came out to a couple basketball games. And, they see me play basketball and they offered me for football right away kind of thing. And I couldn't clear the clearinghouse in the United States. So I had to go to junior college. So I went to a coach that a lot of people recommended.
Clearinghouse in terms of like your education.
Yeah, my education.
Your
Yeah,
credits?
so like my SAT scores and all the
it was the
mumbo
same.
jumbo. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
now they're just they're just giving money to kids. Hey, it's a different day, but good for these boys, man. Good for these boys and girls out here, going to get this NIL money.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So I couldn't clear it. Went to a junior college, played for a coach in Bakersfield named Coach Chudy, and yeah, I mean, and his staff, the amazing staff, and had a great 2 years there. One of the most memorable 2 years of my life, and went on and got drafted. Yeah.
Wow! Shout out to Bakersfield. Shout out to Ricky and Erica and the Deltros out there running our Bakersfield office in PHP.
Shout out Bakersfield, man.
Yeah,
That's dope.
Baco's got nothing but oil fields and grapes and farming.
Yeah,
Agriculture.
and the best people in California.
Amen to that, bro.
Yeah.
I would have to say that. In terms of you're getting drafted into the Cowboys, 3rd round, 81st overall.
Yeah.
What was you ever having these aspirations to get drafted into the NFL?
I mean, the aspirations were there. I mean, but honestly, like, I don't want to say it wasn't self-confidence. I just grew up thinking CFL, right? I grew up thinking CFL was
Argonauts.
kind of yeah. Honestly, Montreal was my team, but
Okay,
yeah, you're right, Argonauts, but no, that's Toronto. But
yeah,
yeah,
my own kind of anyway.
Alouettes, I'm thinking, but yeah, so I was thinking that more than I was thinking the NFL, and it just became more and more of a reality when coaches would tell me, different teammates would tell me, and it just became more and more of a reality into my senior year in college. And I just, it was good that way though, because, you weren't thinking about, trying to go to the NFL. My mind was just on balling, just on playing my best ball. And
were you always bigger than everybody in your class?
in high school.
Yeah.
But then, I mean,
college,
JUCO came at one step and then college at another step, like it was actually a good stepping stones for me, so JUCO, the ball was, good, but like it wasn't university ball, right? So, obviously. So, I mean, it came perfect steps. It was high school, JUCO, college, pro.
Got it.
Yeah. So
So when you're looking at, and you mentioned NIL earlier, what a different era we're living in today.
I know, man.
So
I know, man.
How do you think you would have treated your career differently in college, even in high school, knowing that NIL money is, something that is not just generated by the team, but the boosters and the network of investors and entrepreneurs out there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know. I know that obviously, some of these boys are getting paid more in college than they may in the NFL. So that's hard to grasp as a college student. Like you're pampered already. You're pampered at that young age, kind of thing. Is where it was still a really crazy grind for us in college. Like, I mean, we were still scholarship checks were only paying for rent and a little bit of food. Everything else you had to go and get somehow, right? So it was like, and then while we were still doing study hall, workouts, practice, and school, right? So it was a grind. And now I think like guys they take so much off of some of these guys play. Most of them actually, most of the team gets at least some kind of money on top of their scholarship check. So
yeah. SMU now, they said every athlete on their team here at SMU gets paid $80,000 a year to play.
Good. I mean, I'm not mad at it. I'm happy for them boys.
And that was a college that went down in the 80s for paying their players.
Yeah.
With the whole Eric Dickerson era.
Now LSU just does it. LSU just, they don't have to get in trouble for what they've been doing.
What did Shaq say? So why'd you go play at LSU? Because they paid the best.
Yeah. Straight up. Man, I went down there. My wife went there, and I went down there, and them boys cruising every single kind of car, everybody's dream car them football players had. It was crazy.
Bayou Bengals, man. And Bayou Bengals.
Yeah.
When you're looking at the NFL today, where the game is today, extremely popular game. Do you think the season is a little too long? I think they even think about extending the season even some more.
Yeah, they're crazy. I mean, dude, for a lot of these guys, especially, after year 4, recovery time is insane. You're not really recovering by Sunday. You play Sunday. I mean, I'm not even talking about the Monday, Thursday games, but you play Sunday, you're not really recovering, especially with, an extremely intense practice, on Wednesday. You know what I mean? So I think what they're doing with that, it's obviously money driven, of course, but I mean, dude, the PA, has a good chance to step up here sometime in these next couple of years to, either put a halt. And they definitely have to put a halt to, adding more games than this. It's getting insane.
I mean, you did 9 years, man. 9-year playing your career.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got drafted and retired with the same team.
Yeah.
Very, very rare.
Very, very lucky. Yeah. Fortunate. Yeah.
And so, what was your process in saying, okay, it said, there's a quote in the news that said, Tyrone, he came to me right away in the exit interview process. He's going to retire based on Coach McCarthy. What was what was that moment? How did you know?
I kind of knew after going through the battle of my hips, I just wasn't the same ball player, and I wasn't giving what I wanted to give to the game. And my mentality is really just the battle with me and the man or 2 men across from me. Because as a D lineman, you're getting double teamed, especially the position I played. But
3 tech.
Yeah, I was playing 3 tech a lot in my career. I played a lot of end too, but 3 tech mostly. And I was a lighter end of 3 tech, so you know what I mean. It was always a battle for me, and that's what I loved.
I loved like under 300.
Oh yeah, I was for sure under 300. I was sometimes 275 going in there.
Could you imagine? I'm a lighter.
Yeah,
270. Yeah. Large human being right here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, but at that position, you want to be in the 90s at least. 95, 300s, and still kind of getting off the ball the way you are. But yeah, I mean, dude, I love the battle. That was my favorite part of the game. Because as you can't really control what happens, outside of your individual battle in football.
Mm-hmm.
You got to win. You got to do your job, win your job, and that's what I was so passionate about. And I was passionate about, it was me and some other man thinking he can get me, and I was for sure going to get him, right? So,
but you're studying tape on him, and he's studying tape on you. So what are you?
Yeah.
I mean, what are you trying to figure out when you're studying game tape?
I mean, I personally was just trying to get a little edge, right? So if I can get off the ball quicker because he does something with his foot or his fingers or his hand,
that little thing.
Yeah, just a little thing, But for me, I had a coach that was harping on us constantly about watching yourself. You know what I mean? So I watched how I can improve.
Yeah.
And I watched me mostly. And then closer to game time, if I could figure out something, which it's rare that you do. Most NFL players are pretty, poised in their stance. And at least, if it's not like a Trent, like Trent will kind of give something away, but he's still gonna rock your face, right? but like
Trent Williams.
Yeah, the guy's a killer. But
the guy who smacked what's his name? That defensive back, Richard Sherman.
Oh yeah, guy's smacking everybody in the league. But
they say he's only smacking people that are smaller than him. He wants smacking people his size.
I mean, we had a good relationship after the game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But during the game, yeah, we were smacking each other around. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was the battle for me. Yeah. So
when you're looking at the guys now in the league, now they're building a brand while they're on a platform like a podcast or doing these type of things, which I love. And you get an insight of how players are thinking, what players go through. When the draft is coming up here, what is every player going through in terms of, okay, who's going to draft, who's going to draft, who? Is there teams there that players know, man, I hope this team don't draft me? And there's teams out there. It seems like, man, I hope this team does draft. Do teams have that reputation amongst the players?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. There's like, a lot of players are like, man, I don't want to go to a cold city. I don't want to go to a crappy team. You know what I'm saying? And no offense, like to Chicago or anything, but I'm just
Hurt me, baby, hurt me.
like that's a prime example.
Damn.
Like I mean, but a lot of
that's painful.
yeah.
It's
Once you get there, though, a lot of guys love it. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter. Like you're in the circumstances you're in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to go hard. But a lot of people love Dallas and they want to be in Dallas. And I know we were talking about the brand, but and that's one big reason. But also, I mean, just like, the comfort of how you went to battle, like, I played at Boise, so we had some cold games, but it was never like, if you try and play D lineman in a cold game and your fingers are freezing, like we played in Chicago in the I forget what the actual feel like was, but it was super negative. And I was just like, it was the worst. It was the craziest game.
As a pro? Or
as a pro. Yeah. And my fingers were just
crazy,
like,
man.
just numb to everything that was happening during the game. I had one of the best games I've had, but it was still freezing. Yeah, it's freezing cold.
Doing that for a living, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm born and raised in Chicago. I mean, but you guys are out there and you guys are hardcore. No sleeves out there, negative 20-degree weather, mental thing.
It's all a facade.
Freezing.
Yeah, freezing, bro. Just gonna make it look like I'm not freezing.
I mean, I can take the cold, but bro, one thing here in Dallas, it's freaking hot as freaking hot.
Yeah.
And my son's out there playing. I'm like, I'm hot in the stands, and I was in the Marines. I was deployed in Africa overseas, and I'm like, yo, Dallas is hot. It's hot here, and then humidity in Houston and Miami and Florida. To be a football player playing in that gear, amongst other sweaty men stinking up. It's not like they're taking showers and being
no, you have to have a different type of mindset when you're playing football, and then also taking care of your body. I mean, as you and your son, probably know going into games. I mean, you gotta stay hydrated. You gotta be overly hydrated going into it here, at least. Even in practice here. I mean, Jerry, you've seen the star. Jerry's got us in like a fishbowl. Where there's sun beaming off of this building and sun beaming off and it's just, I mean, it's hot.
You can't get away from the sun.
Hot. No, yeah. And with Coach Garrett, he didn't care. He was like, "Yo, we're outside." Yeah.
When you're talking about players and friends, speaking of D-Law, he's got this long, I would say, love letter, bro. I mean, this guy, you meant a lot to him, bro. You meant a lot to him.
Yeah, I mean, he means a lot to me, man. That's my boy. That's my brother, for real. I mean, but yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're talking about, the when I retired.
Yeah, April of 2021.
Yeah.
About, the weekend you guys first met, in terms of him being on there. Now, you mentioned, like, bro, I'm going to get you on the Cowboys. So how do you have that much influence when you're on the Cowboys to say, D-Law, I'm going to get you on the Cowboys? How do you have that much influence? Is it with the coaches? Is it with Jerry? How did you know did you have enough pull to bring him to the Cowboys?
Honestly, that was like, 50% hopeful comment and 50% confident comment. Because, I knew that at that point in my career, I was kind of gaining some momentum, amongst the coaches and
credibility.
Yeah, credibility. And, just with the strength staff, and it like, weirdly enough, like a lot of the staff has, a lot of input on who gets into the building as well, right? And, my relationship with a lot of the staff members, I mean, besides the coaches, a lot of the staff around the Cowboys that actually have been there forever, the trainers, the equipment guys, you know what I'm saying? All people that I call family, right? And so I call them family from an early time because, I'm Canadian. That's just how I walked into the building, and that's kind of how we meshed up. So, I was talking to them about it a lot, and I just continuously mentioned him, and then, Coach Kiffin came to me and said, "Hey, like, I know you've been telling us about this D-Law guy, this is, we're highly considering him." And I was like, okay, this really might happen. Yeah. And I mean,
because he went in the second, right?
Second. Yeah. But they made like a crazy move to go get him.
Yeah. They traded up.
Yeah. They traded up.
I said, never told you this before, but Tyrone, thanks to your advice and guidance, you helped me not jump off the proverbial bridge, but that most NFL players fall off when they don't take their profession seriously. You saved me. With your support and constant encouragement, you got me back on track. Wow. And then your quote back to him was, "I'm Rob with you. We're gonna do whatever we got to do to get you back to being your normal self." End of story. So you're that guy. What's that locker room like, man? That locker room between friends, between it being a profession. How do y'all blend that in the locker room? Your competition, poking at each other. Yet this is what we do for a living. How does that work between players at this level? Because for me, I can only understand it from a high school athlete wannabe, sitting on the sidelines perspective.
Well, leads me to another question. What happens when the paycheck and the income stops, but the mortgage doesn't? I've seen families lose everything, not because they were lazy, but because they didn't have a plan. And that's why I wrote the book, Keep the Keys. It's a blueprint to protect your home, your income, and your peace with real stories, real strategies, real results. And on August 20th in Dallas, I'm officially launching the book and my private networking and upscale mastermind event, Cigars, Wealth, and Whiskey. This isn't a seminar. It's a high-level networking experience and upscale mastermind for entrepreneurs, executives, and legacy builders. And for one night only, I'm bringing out a special guest. One of the most iconic names in comedy and culture, Marlon Wayans, as he shares his new cigar with us, Liga Tridente. Now, there are only 200 seats available, and we just opened up a new set of tickets called Elite Tickets if you want proximity around Marlon and myself. There's only 20 of those tickets available for sale. So if you're serious about protecting what you've built and learning how to never hand your keys back, this is where you need to be. Go to cigarswealthandwhiskey.com, grab your ticket, get the book, and keep your peace and keep the keys.
Yeah. No, honestly, I mean, it gets sticky. There's guys
Really?
with different perspectives of how they handle, like different ways of how they handle that, right? And I can only speak on like how I handled it and what worked for me. Even though like I wasn't sure, I wasn't 100% sure that was going to work, but what I did always was just work me against me. I wasn't worried about giving somebody else advice because I kind of saw I had players and when I came in that would help me, but then I saw also players that wouldn't help me or try and steer me the wrong way.
Really?
Yeah, and I took it in and it was very recognizable to me. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
I didn't want to be that guy. I wanted to be a guy that, hey, I'll offer you everything I got, but I'm still going to work on me. And I'm still like, I knew that no one was outworking me. I didn't care who it was.
Yeah.
Right. So I had to outwork me from yesterday. Right. And I'm still like that. Which I'm super thankful for. It's something, God's, I guess put on my heart to be like, and I'm super grateful for it. That's just kind of how I am. But yeah, man, it was a me against me thing. And I wasn't really worried about, it was more of a rewarding thing that I was able to offer, assistance in any way. And I mean, and that's life, football, you know what I mean?
What's your most brutal conditioning drill that you went through? That you, like, as soon as they did the conditioning drill, like, oh man, we got to do this shit.
It had to be in college.
Which would be?
It was, do you know the 300-yard shuttle?
I do.
Yeah. So we had to do that twice.
300. Oh, I'm talking about the 300 yard around the track.
No. So this is, we had to go 50 back, 50 back, 50 back.
That type of shuttle.
No,
like a
okay,
suicide.
yeah. It was like a suicide, but I think we had to do it like 3 times, and it was all timed. So everything was timed. And I'm not the type to give up, but I was a guy that came in from JUCO, so they were kind of like, hey, you're going with all these redshirt freshmen and all these other guys, but because you haven't done it yet, and like so all my guys that I was hanging out with were kind of like on the sidelines, like they already did it and stuff like that. And no one was telling me anything. They're like, okay, just, keep going. And then I'm seeing like all these guys dropping out, and there's like no consequences for them. At least this is what I'm thinking. Like there's no consequence for a redshirt freshman, for dropping out of this thing. So I'm the last guy going, and I'm probably 3/4 of the way through it. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I can't get this done. Right. And I'm sitting there, I'm still trying to hit it. I'm dying. And I'm like, I'm not going to be able to make the next time. You know what I'm saying? So like I go as hard as I can, but I kind of just fall out. And then everybody, I'm like, I failed. Right. But everybody comes around me, jumps up. Yeah. Right. And I'm like,
wow.
why are you why are we celebrating? I failed. And they were like, no, bro, we just wanted to see how far you would go.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was like,
Really?
I passed. Yeah, I passed. Yeah. They were like, you went far, so don't worry about it. I was like, all right, good.
But that was a setup.
Yeah, it was all a setup. But like even my boys didn't tell me, which was crazy. Like I went to Boise because one of my best friends went to Boise, you know, and he didn't even tell me. It's crazy. I was like, I don't even know if I could trust you
I
anymore.
like
fam.
that. Reminds me of that movie, Facing the Giants. This a Christian movie. He puts a blindfold on. He goes, hey, I want you to get on your back and put the player on your back. I want you to bear crawl.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah.
That scene, right?
Yeah.
And I want you to give me your very best.
Yeah.
You know, get to the 50-yard line. Can you do the 50, right? And
He
what
doesn't
happened?
look up. Yeah.
He doesn't look up. The next thing you know, he ends up on the other side completely. I got to be there already. But the thing is, if they told you what you had to do, you probably wouldn't do it.
No, yeah. I would have stopped. I would have stopped like, probably 5 or 6 reps ago.
So what's that identity like for you? Okay, you wore the star, you retired, you're not playing anymore. Because a lot of military guys would go through that type of stuff where we were in uniform, we were respected, we're on base, we're in charge of men, we're amongst men, and now you got to find out who you are again. You got to start from the bottom of something. What's that transition like for a professional football player?
You know, it's the same. I think it's hard. It's hard at times for sure. But it's a challenge that I wasn't, blind. I knew I was going to have to face this challenge. Like even in my career, I knew that this, football does not last even close to forever. Right. So, and I didn't want it to, I wanted to see what I can do outside of the game that I've been playing my whole life. Right. Unfortunately, I would have started, if I knew what I know now, I would have started and had some kind of time set aside to work on stuff like this, like the stuff that I'm doing now. I would have worked on stuff like this, even if it led nowhere. It would have helped me like gain the knowledge of what I need to do, like setting up emails, domain, all
While
these,
you're still playing.
yeah, while I was still playing, because I mean, dude, that's just one regret I have, right? But yeah, the transition is tough. It's tough for everybody, but we're all getting through it, and it's a lovely journey. It's just it's just kind of crazy because it's kind of like you're like you said, you're starting all over again.
I gotcha. When we're talking about you being Canadian, how does Canada, like with what's going on with terrorists right now, and and all the people firing back and forth, what is it about Canada that Americans don't understand?
I think that's a broad question because there's so many.
Let's say from a
but like
business or economic
a business.
standpoint.
Yeah, okay. Well, personally, there's different parts of Canada that do better than others. So,
okay,
where I'm from is very industrial, and we're pretty much like right across from Detroit. So we send car parts to Detroit, right? I mean, that's where a lot of our money's made. If there's jobs for people, it's usually in the car industry, in like the parts in factories. But yeah, like I mean, there's places in Canada that do really well with oil, and different industries everywhere. I think like where there's misunderstanding is that like Canada needs the US, and there's like there is one thing we do need y'all for, and it's it's protection for sure. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that financially it's necessarily needed. But I when Trump makes jokes about things like you said, hey, Canada's ours pretty much. It wouldn't hurt, like you guys, like in America, that you guys just do such a good job of, I mean, I guess you don't see a lot of struggle when it comes to like industries growing. And in Canada, we're kind of been at a stalemate since, at least I was a kid. And there's not like, I don't see growth, at least where I'm from, you know what I mean? But there are areas in the country that are that are growing huge, like Vancouver.
How did you look at money growing up as a kid, growing up in Canada?
I think I fell into the same kind of thing, like, hey, you go work, save, have a little bit of a savings account, I didn't think about money working for you in a way. I didn't think about how you can, save to a point to where it eventually can. I didn't think about money like how I think about it now.
Interesting.
but like again, we were in a city where you go and work.
Yeah, blue collar
For sure. And I mean, that's just kind of how it was. I mean, my mom, always had aspirations of doing things, but when you have 2 kids and you work at a factory, and you're kind of like, my dad, they had separated, and my dad worked on a ferry boat, going back and forth from Pelee Island in Sandusky, Ohio, to Ontario, and it was kind of like that, like both, salaries like that, and they were just trying to, survive at that point with 2 kids, and my mom kind of took the grunt of it at times. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to really fulfill your aspirations of maybe making some money work for you at a point when you just got to survive.
Well, let's talk about that. What is you've made money in the NFL. You make a couple pennies, a couple quarters, a little bit of change.
Yeah.
What's the biggest money move that you wish you made when you got your first paychecks?
Oh man, so many things.
Is that right? Okay.
Well, I mean, dude, like obviously the obvious things, like, hey, I wish I would have bought this plot of land. And I don't even care where it's at, Prosper, Frisco, Salina.
Yeah.
Along the tollway. Yeah, I mean, I would have, if I knew what I knew now, I would have dumped everything into land or into a certain stock, Amazon or
I got it.
Bitcoin, whatever it is, right? But yeah, I mean, dude, without knowing, I'm kind of happy the way things worked out, without knowing, so I have an uncle that kind of made a good fortune in his life, and he kind of advised me, especially when I signed my contract, on kind of how to put things in. We were just super conservative, but now I got full range. I'm trying to make the right decisions, you know what I mean, with my portfolio.
Love it. When you're looking at by the way, did you play with Brandon Carr?
I did, yeah.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, Carr's my guy.
Funny, is that right?
Yeah.
Carr.
Yeah.
Okay. Funny story. Because I'm on my come up, and I think we just crossed 7 figures of income, and I'm commuting back and forth between Chicago and Dallas, and I'm looking at Prosper.
Oh, okay.
And people are asking me, why do you want to move to Prosper? I said, are you kidding me? It's just a city's name. Why'd you move to Prosper? Well, because I want to prosper, baby.
I love that. Yeah, it's perfect.
I live on the corner of Financial and Independence, baby. Let's go, right? And plus, Dion's house is up there. Yeah. Casa de Monticello, and I put an offer on a piece of land, on a lot.
Yeah. And
I got told by the realtor we got outbid. I said, who outbid? I said, we got to, go higher. We 5 back. I said, man, I'm good. I'm tapped. He goes, yeah, you lost to Brandon Carr.
I love it.
I'm like, okay, I know I'm going somewhere now positively because I'm losing biz now to former athlete or professional athletes.
B Carr at that, B Carr he was like, one of the, I don't know, he was the first $50 million corner at the,
really,
I think.
Wow.
Something like that. Yeah, he was.
No kidding.
Yeah, he made some kind of record happen, or a free agency number.
Do you players talk about what you guys had, or do you guys kind of know each other's contract?
I mean, dude, you sign your contract, you have to pretty much get up in front of the team and announce every single penny.
Oh, is that?
Yeah. Yeah, they make it funny. Yeah, I signed my contract, and the first thing Jayden Witten's like, "Big money, big money's walking in. Let's hear it." So like it was over with from there. I had to tell everybody.
I love it.
Yeah,
that's cool. Is there any pressure that you guys have to spend on something? You hear these rookie dinners, and the rookie have to come out and shell out, and they're taking a hit for doing because they're rookies. It's kind of like financial hazing, right?
Yeah.
But is there anything? Does that stuff go on?
That's a big pressure, but I mean, just life pressures, like when you again, like the first signing bonus I got, it was it was 10, right? So I was thinking like, holy crap, 10's about to, hit my account. And then, obviously you see it when it does, and you're like, wait, where's the 10 at? So you see all the taxes that
wow.
You see taxes, agent fees, all that stuff come out right away. And you're like, okay, now we got this. I'm still happy, right? It's just little things that you're ignorant about that, you just got to make happen at the beginning. And then,
Tommy Harris said, whatever they're paying you, just look at half of it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Really?
Especially for me, because I wasn't a resident of anywhere at the
Oh,
time.
wow.
So Canada took their little portion too.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Oh yeah. I love Canada. Got my American
Taxes.
citizenship now. I'm good.
So if you're an athlete, it's, I know at the rookie symposium they give you guys good guidance and advice and classes about money, but it's up to you to really build your own team and to find your advisors, and find your agents that's going to help you do that.
Yeah, and I mean that's something I advise all athletes, coming in, and especially going into your second contract, and if you know that something like that's going to happen for you, is to seek mentors, people like yourself that can help just answer questions like I was asking you about business earlier, I can't wait to sit down at a dinner just to seek your mentorship in just this world, right? So I mean, I always advise them to kind of seek the same kind of information, because it all hits you at once, and I mean to know more and to know kind of how to handle and structure some of the things that you're about to get into. You do insurance. I think that's, amazing. I haven't tapped into that yet, and I would love to learn more. You know what I'm saying? So, cause like I broadened out my portfolio, but not everything, I'm still learning, you know what I mean? So I still just need to learn and, grow from where I'm at right now. I don't want to, stay stagnant and get eaten alive out here.
Insurance is like that 300 shuttle. You got to do.
I like it.
You hate to do it, but you got to do it
Absolutely.
because that's going to build the foundation to everything that you're going to build.
I love that.
You can be financially conditioned. So, what's some of the biggest mistakes you in general, or you saw, of a player make with money? Where do we start? Huh?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen someone blow it all right away. Not like blow it all right away, but like in a blink of an eye, dude. 2 years, it was something really, really, really big was gone. You know what I mean? And it's just
was it a girlfriend? Was it an investment? Was it?
Well, honestly, just like like ignorance. You know what I mean? Like it's just gonna come forever. Like it's gonna be there. And just cars, houses. Not knowing what's coming with the house, not knowing what's coming with buying your mama a house and your dad a house, not knowing what's coming with buying them all a car.
Yeah.
And furnishing everything and the insurance that comes every year.
The maintenance
all those things add up. And when you're flying all your homies out to the same vacations you're going to, you look down and you're like, oh crap, I'm not in a good space. And then, something happens in your main investment, which is football. And then now you're stuck in a bad situation. You know what I mean? And it's like, I love the conservative approach and, the answer no, cause
not a freedom.
Yeah. And honestly, I love it when like a player gets a second contract, but got his lesson learned in his first.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like kind of like me, I spent my rookie year, I made, I don't even know what it was some 400,000 or something like that. And I spent like 60 on tickets
for friends and family.
And then that's not even like what I gifted friends and family outside of my mom and my brother. You know what I'm saying?
Tickets aren't free for players.
No, there's two, but
two tickets.
2 tickets. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, yeah, I got the ticket bill at the end of the year.
You're the ones putting the people in the stadium and tickets aren't free for you?
I mean, guys would order 30, 40,
That's rough. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of our clients, Jalen Wells, he got drafted by the Memphis Grizzlies, and his father now is he's being an NBA dad, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. There are family tickets, and there's tickets you have to pay to get there. Speaking of buying things and purchasing things, have you been seeing what's going on with China manufacturers calling out and exposing the luxury brands market?
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's insane because, like I didn't even know that I didn't know where tariffs stood before this, but I didn't know like he can just, say, oh, okay, no, I don't care where they stood. We're going all the way up. You know what I'm saying? We're going to wherever, and like to make this almost impossible. And, unfortunately, I just got into a world with a Canadian teammate of mine, that I grew up with. The reason why I went to Boise State, that guy, we got into a workout sweater brand, and we're kind of just at the tail end of finalizing it all.
Cool.
And it's kind of a unique material. That's what makes it all unique. And just at the moment of finalizing everything, and they're like, hey, well, by the way, if you do want to order the sweater, it went from $30 to $60
because it's made in China.
Yeah, made in China. So,
Wow.
and then if you want to make it in Egypt, you can't get the same pockets. We're like, oh, perfect. That's what we like.
I mean, that's the issue though. For the last 30 years, bro, we've outsourced manufacturing and skilled labor like that.
Yeah.
Tim Cook, the Apple CEO, he said people think that it's cheap labor. No, it's not cheap labor anymore. It's skilled labor, skilled artisans, skilled, handmade bags that is supposed to be Italian made, but the only thing that's Italian made is they're just slapping the logo on the Italian bag, which is actually 80% made in China.
Yeah.
They just ship it to Italy, just to say they can legally say it's now in an Italian bag.
Yeah. We've been bamboozled out here a lot.
But I mean, Ocho Cinco's long said, man, listen, man, I buy all my gear at Claire's.
Yeah.
I wear fake stuff.
Yeah.
Prime time, when we interviewed Coach Prime, he was like, listen, the whole prime time is a facade, because that was a facade I put up, a persona.
Yeah.
To bring, highlight, to raise the awareness of the position, so therefore he can become,
Yeah. I mean, brilliant, dude.
Yeah, revolutionize the cornerback position, not only how it was played, but also how it was paid.
Yeah. I mean, this guy was thinking so far in the future.
Exactly. Blessed, anointed, man. And so when you're paying for these things, do you think that there's also an exposure? For me, what exposed to me, I want your opinion on this, exposed to me how much we all pay for a brand, for the perception to, the way I look at it, it's the perception to, oh, you're wearing Gucci. Oh, you got Hermes. Oh, you got Versace. Oh, you got Louis. Oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
The companies out there in the multicultural community that makes the most amount of money off our community is one of them is LVMH, Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy. Right. We like drinking some Moet.
Yeah.
We like drinking some Hennessy. We like wearing some Louis Vuitton, but it's owned by a French company. Your distant uncles.
Yeah. Distant.
So, is there something to be said there about the exposure of what people pay for just to have the perception to be saying, I'm wearing Louis? Is that worth the money, knowing that we have to pay for it?
Personally, I don't think it's worth the money, but there are people that do and enjoy that, like the fruits of their labor in that way, and I don't take that, I don't take that from them in one bit, because at the end of the day, I mean, some people, I've never been one to I guess like stunt. Like some of my friends back home are like, man, why don't you pull up in like a whatever car and in the city? And I'm like, cause man, I'm from this city. I don't want to like put nobody down in this city. You know what I'm saying? Like I might do that in Dallas every once in a while, but I'm not about to like just pull up on somebody. The same people that might have asked me for $1,000 last week and I couldn't give it to them, but I'm driving a drop top Range, or a drop top Rose. I can't do that in my own city, but yeah, I mean, dude, the brand thing, and we were talking a little bit about the Cowboys as well, right? Like when people come to Dallas, they're like, man, I want to go see the Cowboys, even if you don't even really know, who they are. Then like, hey, that star, I know I gotta go to one of those games,
Yeah.
And I mean, it is an experience, but that's another thing behind every great brand is a visionary like Jerry, like he makes Cowboys games, and watching the Cowboys and everything about the Cowboys, the whole experience, exciting, and that's what he deserves. He deserves his brand to be at that stature because he's giving people the experience that everybody has with it.
I think people are willing to accept that because there's an actual experience for that. For example, like the Cowboys Club here, the only fan experience to be from a guy like me, a wannabe athlete, to be part of the players because I'm part of the Cowboys Club. Yeah. Because you pay extra amount for this. It's a social club. But if you pay this, it gets you access, gets you insight, gets you a different experience than just walking around the star. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But at least there's some form of experience there. But what's the experience of a bag, or even say a watch, that it costs, a tenth of what they're selling it for? Yeah. And then being exposed just to make us feel better. For example, if you go to my wife's closet and buy a bunch of purses, But for her, they're all collecting dust because she's not about the Louis. She's not about the why. I don't know what YLS. I don't know.
I think it's YSL.
Wait.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not about the brands, right? But I like wearing stuff, but I'm not validated by the stuff.
Right. Yeah.
You know, some people are validated by the stuff.
Yeah. And if you know, and that's what, like, you know, that's where you find, you know, good character, good people, you know what I'm saying? If you could tell that, like, they're not validated by the stuff, that's when, you know, you continue. I mean, at least I continue the conversation with somebody, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, yeah, I enjoy, you know, being in something nice as well, you know what I mean? But
sure.
that doesn't define who I am at all. Not at
Yeah.
all. Yeah. So, you know,
Yeah, we're going to have you know, because now the White House claimed President Donald Trump believes the U.S. has the workforce and resources to build iPhones domestically. But analysts argue an American-made iPhone 16 Pro, currently $1,200, could cost 25% more at roughly $1,500 due to labor costs alone, with the shift to 10% of Apple's supply chain now coming to America. Currently over 80% now is in China.
yeah, I mean, it makes sense. That, like, I mean, I don't know where Trump sees that, because I mean, at the end of the day, like, no, people aren't working for, you know, pennies here. Like, I mean, minimum wage is going to continue to go up.
Yeah.
You know, and then, like, think about the reset of just, you know, having to teach people, you know, how, like, it's going to slow everything down. You know what I mean? It's going to slow everything down greatly until everybody gets that. But even, like, you know, battery plants for Tesla and stuff like that, you know, people just don't want to work for what's offered. You know, I mean,
well, it's challenges. Speaking of that, challenges include a lack of skilled U.S. workers. Tim Cook noted in 2017 that a meeting of tooling engineers in China could fill multiple football fields. So if you put all of them together, they can fill multiple football fields, unlike in the U.S., and higher labor costs, with Bank of America's Wamsi Mohan estimating $200 per iPhone for U.S. assembly versus $40 assembling the same phone in China, where Foxconn hires workers at $3.63 per hour compared to California's $16.50 minimum wage. So the internal cost. So do you think we've done a bad job of offshoring skilled labor? Now, right now, like, what's our skilled labor? There's no skilled labor.
no, yeah, no.
There's no skilled labor in America.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, a lot of people, I think, you know, are in the same kind of mindset. I mean, like, where social media and, you know, everything's kind of got people's minds is that, you know, they can everyone can be entrepreneurs, and I mean, maybe, you know what I'm saying, but running a business is hard, as you know, right?
Sure.
I mean, it takes your own labor. It takes your own time and a lot of time. You know, a lot of people don't want to give that. They still have their hobbies and, you know, the things that, you know, they want to do. And they just, you know, like, their perception of what is, and it's off, I think. And yeah, I mean, dude, the laborers here, even in this business, you know, like, to try and hire somebody from here, to, you know, come out and make $20 to $25 an hour
in construction.
Yeah, in construction, to help us lay turf, or help us, you know, pour cement, or, you know, even do sod. You know, sometimes, you know, we're out there and, you know, guys, you know, have some sort of excuse, or we can't find enough laborers, and then we're out there ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But I'm with that. You know, I was raised by a mother that will get down whenever she needs to get down, right? So me and my brother, hey, we're with it. We're getting down whenever we need to get down too.
So Americans consumers face new tariff surcharges on receipts, with Alexandra Fine of Dame, a sexual wellness firm, telling the Wall Street Journal about her $5 Trump tariff surcharge add-on, saying it doesn't cover the full cost, not even close, but it felt better than pretending everything's fine. So you have a sexual wellness firm adding a Trump tariff surcharge. They know they have tariffs for teaching people about sexual wellness, man. When you're importing goods,
and
toys.
Most likely.
You're right. Despite President Trump's 90-day tariff pause, China's 125% duty against Beijing's 84% on U.S. goods hits industries like clothing and auto manufacturing, per reports of flat fees or percentage-based charges. So are you as a business owner, are you having to adjust in terms of what you pay people, personnel, because of are you having to pay more because you have less? Maybe, you know, the whole immigration thing has scared off a lot of immigrants that would have normally taken those jobs. How is it impacting your business and construction?
So we're trying to do it the right way, as far as like who we hire. So I mean, we're trying to only hire people that are legal because
Documents, yep.
yeah, that have documents because of again, we want to do this, we want to build this, but we don't want to be in this forever, right? So we want to make sure that who's with the company and who grows with the company. Is part of the entire package. So like me, my brother, at the head of the company, and then everybody that's underneath this. If we ever sell, hey, we'll sell, we'll run this company for a couple more years, but listen, we're gonna take our team, we're gonna figure out how we can train people to replace our team, but
Sure.
everybody here doesn't have like you got us for 2 to 3 to 5 more years because there's no legal issues that will ever happen with any of these guys unless they'd be idiots.
Yeah.
But like other than that, I think that's something huge that a lot of people look for. And I mean, at least, from the people we were advised from in this business, that was something super important. And yeah, so I mean, we just take that, and we try and take that very serious.
Love it. Love it. Young woman, you're a girl dad.
Mm-hmm. 4
babies.
4 sweeties.
Woo.
Yeah.
So young women are cutting back on spending, with Miranda McClellan saying, I'm trying to shop in my own closet. After skipping manicures and dyeing her own clothes to save money, she expressed frustration, saying, the rules of the game have changed. I was told if I got a big corporate job, I would have financial security and healthcare that could take care of everything, and I could retire with a big 401k. Iron Briscoe, facing economic instability, canceled subscriptions and said, things feel a lot tighter now. After layoff, she turned to Chat GPT for therapy. Explaining therapy is expensive. No one has an extra $200 to talk to a therapist anymore, reflecting a broader trend where women's general merchandise spending dropped 1% by February based on what's going on. So you're a girl dad.
Yeah.
Are there any areas, because they're living in this bubble, dad was this, and right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
is there certain values and principles and financial things you're teaching your daughters in the household?
Man, listen, yes, there are principles that I have, but I know I'm not perfect. And again, and this is an area where, along with our dinner or our coffee, whatever we do, when we sit down, I would love, also to get your advice because, there's things that I just don't know. And like, I know you have older kids, right? So you've been through these situations where, I can accept, hearing your opinion on how you would handle some of these things. But, when it comes to like, obviously we have this financial, umbrella over our head, and
I want to keep it there.
absolutely, I want to keep it there, and I want to fight inflation myself. And I want to put, situations together where it can help them fight inflation, but I don't want them to rely on what I put together for them. And I really don't even want them to know it's there, to be honest.
Yeah.
Until they have to know it's
For
there.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so like for me, I think that isn't important, that women don't think that it's just women and men don't think it's just hey, we can go out and spend these things. Like think about the things you're buying. Think about exactly what we were talking about, like the brand, like versus another brand, and is it really different?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just ways you can save money and how you can and grow your wealth and protect against the inflationary jumps that we've had in these last couple of years. And just I mean, because it's important. I think finance is important, and obviously people are always like, oh, it's not all about money, but in this world that we live in,
It's pretty damn important.
yeah. I mean, it's like you would hate to say that, and of course, like you want to live a great life and happy life with your family and everything, but a lot of that comfortability comes from the way you handle your finances and the way you handle even if you're making money or you have a job, you're working for somebody, it's important how you manage that money that you're making.
We live in Frisco,
Yeah.
and a couple weeks ago, our city was rocked, sadly, at a high school track meet.
Yeah.
And the stabbing of Austin Metcalf, a junior at Memorial High School, right down the street from us, was fatally stabbed by 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony. Now, I've never commented on it. When it first happened, I was not commenting, but it's become this national attention, this national news. Like our city is now in national news, national attention because of the stabbing. And we love our city. We love this great state, and to see this issue between Austin was a twin boy, and Carmela was the one who stabbed him, black.
Yeah.
Has become a black and white issue.
Yeah.
Versus what's right and wrong. Now you're like my wife. You're a hybrid, right?
Yeah,
you're,
hybrid.
You're half black, half white. How does a man like you, when you see stuff like this, how do you process this on your own? As you internalize this, going with the experience you've had, black side of your family, white side of your family. How do you read this situation?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, would come to me and be like, "Hey, you're black," you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm black, but I'm mixed, I do have a white side of my family. I have a white grandma who I love very much. I had a black granny who I love very much. My mom's black, So, don't get it confused. Like, I'm not gonna, pick one side because, you think it's right. I'm gonna say, I'm most of the time gonna say what's right, or I'm not gonna say nothing at all. I'll keep it to myself because, I know it'll, hurt some feelings, ruffle some feathers. And I'm not a big ruffle feather guy. I'm about energy and protecting mine. So, for this to become a black and white thing is absurd to me. But, also, at the end of the day, it's someone died, right? And whether that's from bullying, or however it came about, someone died, and that person's family is going to be affected forever. And I think about me as a father. I'd hate, for that to happen to my kid, and in any way, no matter what they did.
Yeah, the incident overview is that altercation began when Anthony, sent under a tent designated for Memorial High School athletes during a rain delay. Metcalf asked Anthony to move, leading to a verbal exchange. Witnesses stated that Anthony warned Metcalf not to touch him, saying, "Touch me and see what happens." When Metcalf attempted to physically prompt Anthony to leave, Anthony allegedly retrieved a knife from his backpack and stabbed Metcalf in the chest. Metcalf succumbed to his injuries despite immediate medical attention, dying in the arms of his twin brother, Hunter. Anthony was arrested at the scene and charged with first-degree murder. Upon arrest, he reportedly admitted to the stabbing, saying, I'm not alleged. I did it. In question whether his actions could be considered self-defense. Initially, a $1 million bond was set. A later judge reduced it to $250,000, citing Anthony's age, lack of criminal history, and community ties. Carmelo's got a good family. Young black man raised by mom and dad. And in our community response, deeply hurt by this. Austin Metcalf was remembered as a dedicated student athlete, MVP of his football team, a 4.0 GPA. His funeral was held on April 12th. A GoFundMe campaign was also raised to honor his memory. This morning, he was released. Carmelo was released on house arrest on bond. For a first-degree murder that he admitted he did.
Yeah, I mean, like if I'm the parents, I'm devastated, right? If you're anybody in the family, you're devastated. But at the end of the day, again, I must not know enough about this situation to really have a whole grasp on this, because that seems crazy.
I mean, we've all been pushed around, shoved around in school. We've been bullied, but to defend, listen, the part I don't like is defending him just because he's black or defending him because he's white. I just don't like that. It's so divisive. At the end of the day, a young man's lost, another young man's in jail. And I think today's, if I continue to unpack it, has the youth today, have we, or us as America today, failed in our ability to communicate? Because many classes today, even in college, are offering classes to teach their students how to make phone calls. Because the last thing they do on these phones is actually use the phone feature.
That's serious. Oh, wow.
They're nervous, bro. They're nervous. They don't know how to make phone calls. They're teaching them how to make a phone call. They don't even want to set up a doctor's appointment.
You know what's crazy? It's only going to get worse.
Especially the glasses.
And all this crazy stuff.
I mean, look at what this article says. She's having a counseling session through ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Her friend's in AI.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, listen, I'm not gonna say I'm not a user.
Bro, I love me some ChatGPT, of course.
I'm definitely a user. I just don't know if I would use it for counseling. But I'm saying, it's absurd. And you know, as far as you know, the black and white thing. I mean, just pretend it was, you know, a white kid that stabbed a white kid. You know, it's still
horrific.
It's horrific. Like, just forget the fact that he's black for a second, you know, or
Would it be the same for black on black?
See, now this is the thing. Like, if you really get to thinking about that, like, people would probably be like, oh, you know, like, oh, whatever. You know what I mean? But, like, you know, a white kid having a white kid, like, it would be horrific. You know what I'm saying? A black kid having a black kid. You know, like, the problem with the internet is there's always going to be, it's the internet. You know, there's always going to be people that you're never going to see their face. You know, they're not worried about, you know, they just type stuff.
There's a troll out there.
Yeah, there's mad trolls.
Propagandists.
There's probably people from other countries. You know, there's probably like a system in another country that grabs onto something that's rolling like this within, you know, a trending thing, and they just feed it with negativity.
You're 100% correct.
I mean,
you're 100% correct.
Which we got to wake up, right? We gotta kind of, everybody's got to kind of realize that and fight against it, because it's, you know, it's attacking and eating alive our, you know, our kids. And
have you heard of 5th generation warfare? So
I have an idea of, you know, is that like the TikTok in like,
yeah,
okay,
exactly. So before it was kinetic war, armies against armies, tanks against tanks. Well, 5th generation warfare is a concept that describes warfare primarily conducted through non-kinetic means like social engineering, misinformation, and cyber attacks, often utilizing emerging technologies like AI and autonomous systems. They focus on influencing social perceptions and behaviors rather than direct military confrontation.
Yeah.
So you're right. And we talked about the Chinese manufacturing a bit a few moments ago. That's because these Chinese manufacturers went on TikTok, an app they own anyway, through ByteDance, and they're talking about we're exposing luxury brands. That's their app.
Yeah.
And so,
which is scary.
Yeah,
that's mad scary.
and it's this whole bot thing that you just brought up. I think is a very good point, because at the end of the day, you played sports. You've been with black, white, you name it.
Yeah. Does
race matter in that locker room, man, on winning that championship?
Yeah, I mean,
come on, man.
Listen, there's been times where it's been ruffled, right? Like I lived through the Colin Kaepernick, you know, I was in all that stuff, you know, like it's been ruffled, but it's honestly, you're in a locker room with people that have been in the same kind of locker rooms their whole life. You know what I'm saying? So they've been a part of teams with black, white, you know, at least, right?
Yeah.
In their lives. So it's like, they're not feeling the same way that everybody else outside of the locker room is feeling. So, you know, like that's where the things start to arise, right? And, you know, like you get people text messaging and threatening, like, oh, you better kneel, you know, and like that's where the problem is
amongst the players.
Yeah.
You better kneel.
Well, I mean, like somebody from outside the locker room's texting one of the guys in the locker room, and, you know, they're getting multiple of these texts, right? You know, like, hey, you're a coward, or you're an uncle, you know, whatever, if you don't kneel. And then that's where, you know, they get all this pressure from outside, and they're like, man, what do I do? You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of firm in the stance that, you know, like, which I'm not going to get onto it, but, you know, all that was kind of insanely ridiculous.
Because Jerry kneeled in the middle of the star.
Yeah. And you're talking about, like, I'm sorry, like, listen, man, I'm from Canada, and there's people from other countries. Like, this is, and I hate to say it, Canada, but this right here is the best country here in the world. And people just don't understand it that are here. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just don't.
Wow.
They don't look up and be like, okay, like, we're so grateful that this country takes care of us this way. Like, we could be in, name it, you know what I'm saying? And it's worse.
Yeah.
Way worse. Like, wherever it is, it's worse, right? I mean, I don't know, Canada's way worse, but I'm just saying, like, anywhere else, like, people don't live like people live here, no matter what, even the worst living situations. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the worst living situations here and the worst living situations in wherever, somewhere in China or the Middle East, you know, it's way worse.
Bro,
you know what I mean?
we're moments away from losing World War II. We could have been speaking German and Japanese right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the thing. Yeah. Like with the warfare that you're talking about, like, nothing ain't happening over here. Like, as far as like military, like the whole country's armed, you know, so that's not a worry. It's these types of worries that, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And it could be these catfish, looks like a black woman, but it's really some some psyop
Absolutely.
behind it. It could be some black man, it could be some white man, right? It could be anybody.
Yeah.
But we take it, Tom Smith from Chicago said this, and he looks like me. No, that's a fake account.
Fake. All of them. And there's like 50 of them from each person from a computer in some other country. Yeah, they're running 50 each.
Have you seen those walls where the cell phones are on there?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's a cyber attacks, man. So back to the draft. Any words of wisdom for athletes getting drafted that was in your position many moons ago, and now that's their turn to get drafted? Any words of wisdom on their end?
I mean, obviously enjoy the process because this process kind of flies by, and, immediately you're drafted. It's lovely, boom, 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 but you got to get to work. And, that's not something I can give advice for because that's just going to happen. You know what I mean? But what I will say is, stay humble and stay hardworking. Continue to get better, continue to learn, seek advisement from, older players if they're, and always keep your eyes open for, the ones that are trying to help and the ones that are trying to hurt. And enjoy the journey. This is your number one investment right now. So if it's not making you bigger, faster, or stronger, don't do it right now. You have time for that in the future. Put all your effort into this thing, man, because it definitely pays off, and it pays off, and works wonders for you and your family and your friends and pretty much anybody you want it to.
100%, man.
Yeah,
love it. 9-year veteran of the NFL, Tyrone Crawford here. Appreciate you coming on the pod, man. And
appreciate you having me, man.
You got to come out to the backyard and let me know what to do with my sport court because you're in the construction business now. So help me.
Sports court, we specialize in them, so I'm gonna get you right for sure.
100%, man. By the way, do you want to share anything about that before we let you go?
Well, man, I mean, honestly, I appreciate you having me on. Me and my brother are kind of in this entrepreneurship journey together. He's been doing it for 8 years, and he specialized in turf and concrete, and anything exterior construction. So he's had a company named Legacy Lawn and Landscapes. We kind of expanded it and grew a big sister company, big brother company, at Crawford Signature Spaces, where we handle spaces like this, like your home, what I mean, and bigger jobs. We're doing that, but also just trying to follow our passions as well. In our spare time, we wake up early, and we're gonna run boot camps because we love to work out, we love exercise, we love just staying on our health grind. And then I'm gonna work with some D linemen, probably 2 days a week, and just get them right, man. I have something in my mind that helps with our craft, but also our explosion. I'm an explosion nut. So, I'm going to work with athletes on their explosion, but I'm also going to work with D linemen on our craft. And it's a system that I've been working on. I know it works, and I can't wait to, coach these young athletes up.
Chop rip.
Yeah, chop rip for sure. Oh, you remember? We were teaching you the move the other night.
Tweak my damn shoulder, brother.
Yeah,
what are you doing to me?
Yeah, DeMarcus has got some arm breaking moves.
Does he?
Yeah, we keep these things sharp.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, these are called our swords, man. We keep them sharp. Yeah, you gotta
interesting.
Break down bones, man.
Because when the lineman comes out, that's
break his bone. You do that enough times. You strengthen this, and he don't have this part of his arm strengthened. Like he hasn't been working on that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Then eventually he's not gonna want to put that arm out there.
He's just want to just punch you.
Yeah, and that's when he shows, and then that's when you take advantage of it. Yeah,
that's it. I love it.
It's craft, man.
Love the technique. My wife wants to talk to you about training our son too as well.
Yeah,
so
let's do that, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For more information about Tyrone Crawford and Crawford Signature Spaces, all the links are in the description below. Please put your biggest takeaway here in the comment section below. What did you take away from Tyrone? What did you take away from his mindset, his thoughts on how he's seeing the world through the lens of a pro athlete as a Canadian American? That being said, guys, if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe. We'll see you for the next podcast next week. That being said, from Dallas, Texas, I'm your money smart guy. And until we meet again, continue to live smart, continue to love smart, and be money smart today. Boom.